I see you managed to work it out in that crusty head of yours.
Is that a bread pun?
As I have said already, best you head back to the bakery, lest you continue to serve this court more of your half-baked ideas.
They're about as half-baked as your terrible puns, Barnum. That's how I feel.
Indeed, I would bet my sword on it.
I'd rather not have that.
Yeah. The fucking orchestra, like, stops playing because they know you got that shit in the bag. They're just like, oh, we gotta listen.
I love that one post that was like, the worst feeling is when you make a decision in the Ace Attorney and the music keeps going.
Mm-hmm. Recording started.
Okie dokie. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to 4 Pixels. Coco and Moon are here, and we are continuing Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright.
Time for more lies.
The girl was not holding the scepter in the same hand as the lantern, which means it must have been in her other hand.
Wow. Accused is holding a milk bucket in the court illustration. Who's to say that she wasn't also holding the scepter in that hand? That milk bucket is lighter than it looks. Even Snowy could carry it. So she could have easily held the scepter as well.
I did not see this milk bucket. Everything felt like an illusion.
Oh, you're so useful. Jesus fuck. The scepter was in her other hand, you say. Indeed, such a proposal is feasible. No, it's not. Sir Baker. Yes, Your Honor? It is the strangest thing. The longer this trial goes on, the more you begin to resemble a legitimate defender. Huh? Barnum doesn't like that. Well, no matter. Defender, you may begin your interrogation.
The girl was not holding the scepter in the same hand as the lantern, which means it must have been in her other hand.
Hold it!
But did you actually see that with your own eyes?
Alas, magic's vile embrace hid the scepter from my sight, so I did not see it per se. However, through my years of knightly training, I have learned to see through such cunning trickery.
Is that so?
For example, this morning I found myself unable to locate the whereabouts of my trusty blade. Its location was a mystery. So I tried my hardest to think and remember where I would have kept it last, and before long... Behold, it transpired I was carrying my trusty blade in its scabbard all along. Life is riddled with such trickery.
Ah. You too have 0 brain cells.
Would you say life is riddled with trickery, Nick?
Only if we're talking about my life, Maya.
No.
Oh my god. That's the best. The accused is holding a milk bucket in the court illustration. Who's to say that she wasn't also holding the scepter in that hand?
Hold it!
Court illustration. That's right. Judging by the sketch alone, it does look possible for her to have held the scepter. No, it doesn't!
No, it doesn't.
Even remotely! However, if you actually try holding that thing, you'll notice just how thick it is. No way could she have been holding it.
Objection!
That is nothing more than a mere speculation. You cannot say for certain that she was unable to hold it.
You say speculation, I say it's a fact. There's just no way Espella could have been holding that thing.
As expected, this testimony is filled with nothing but assumptions and conjecture.
Mr. Layton.
You know, Mr. Wright, there does not appear to be any usable evidence present in the court illustration.
Yeah, I agree. It does look that way. Milk bucket ended up disappearing. Clean. Would actually be an impressive evidence in its... That milk bucket is lighter than it looks. Even Snowy could carry it. So she could have easily held the scepter as well.
Hold it!
Just 1 second, Miss Mary. What is it now? Snowy and I don't have all night, you know. Come on then, out with it. Just have one question regarding your testimony. How exactly did you know the bucket Miss Cantabella was carrying was light enough for Snowy to carry? Huh? Well... You see, the girl always uses that same bucket whenever she comes to buy milk from us. Naturally, I would have seen that bucket countless times before. You've seen it countless times before. It doesn't answer my question. You specifically said that that bucket is lighter than it looks. Miss Mary, at some point tonight, you must have held that bucket yourself. Now then, please enlighten us as to exactly when you got your hands on that bucket. It's true. By that time, Rob's and Mug's had already been burnt to ash. And then I noticed the milk in that bucket that girl had been holding in her hand. The milk? Then, when those two went up in a blaze, Snowy and I made a dash for the bucket. As the girl stood there, looking confused, we took the milk from her to make sure it was okay. Uh-huh.
Unbelievable. Witness you.
Well, it was just so wasteful. The thought of all that disgusting ash falling into such precious milk. I felt I just had to protect the milk, so I took the bucket back to the farm with me. Madam, do you mean tell the court that you took evidence from a crime scene back home with you?
That explains why we were unable to locate the milk bucket at the scene.
Oh my! You're scaring poor Snowy! Here, I brought the bucket with me. Anyway, see, I didn't even tamper with the milk. I'm sure you didn't. Court shall accept this milk bucket as evidence. Oy, Gewalt. What the fuck? Read this one.
The milk bucket Espella was carrying at the time of the crime. Mary brought it back to her farm.
The fact that she was like watching a mugging take place and her priority was the...
Yes.
But, like, that's one more piece of evidence for us. Now, the gentleman with the impressive beard, proceed with his testimony. Wow, you guys really are just... Wow.
I did not see this milk bucket. Everything felt like an illusion.
Hold it!
You didn't see the bucket.
Indeed. Naturally, there was no way of me noticing the witch before the crime occurred. My mind was placid as the most placid of placid lakes. But like the early bird on its morning hunt for that elusive worm, my senses remained vigilant.
You do realize the other witnesses have all testified to having seen Miss Cantabella carrying that bucket, though?
And when you have journeyed as far as I have through life, you find all is but an illusion.
Get out of this fucking illusory court.
That is, except for Lord Storyteller, of course.
Barnum's like, why can't I kill That's it for the testimony. Still, something is bound to be there. I can't believe Mary took the bucket home with her.
Miss Mary must be one of those thieving forest wolves we've been hearing about.
Let us hope she doesn't eat like a wolf as well, Luke, for her Snowy's sake.
I've got this new piece of evidence, but the question is, how can I use it?
You know, looking at this milk bucket now, it does look sort of different from the sketch, don't you think?
Yeah, and it would prevent her from carrying anything in her hand along with it. Might be a good idea to get a nice, good look at the actual milk bucket. No. No. Okay. Pretty sure you gotta present on her. Pretty sure, anyway.
Let's give it a shot.
I don't have to look at it, right?
Can we look at the sketch? Oh, we don't have the sketch, do we?
Yeah. Back. Yeah. Items?
Let's give it a shot. Oh no, that's just the stuff we have.
Okay.
Huh, let's see. The milk bucket is lighter than it looks. Even Snowy could carry it, so she could easily have held the scepter as well.
Well,
what
it's really
does
not the
the-
question of...
What does the bucket say itself?
Milk bucket Isabella was carrying at the time of the crime. Mary brought it back to her, Isabella said. Back. Testimony. Okay. Didn't mean to exit out of this. I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't know where to present this.
Yeah, it's either this one or Mary's. Let's see, the girl was not holding the scepter in the same hand as the lantern, which means it must have been in her other hand. And Mary's doesn't really mention anything about hands, so I think it's probably his, because his is the one that's directly implying that it must have been in the...
Wait a minute.
Wait,
But this
go back
one,
to Mary's?
Well, this one with Kira, she's talking about the cord illustration and the milk bucket and the scepter in that hand. So maybe it's this one. Because Mary's talks mostly about how light the bucket is.
Yeah.
I think it's Kira.
Alright, let's give it a shot.
Objection!
Yes, no music.
Nice.
All of your testimonies have come to the same conclusion. You don't know shit. The scepter was not in her right hand with the lantern, therefore it must have been in her other hand. That was holding the bucket. However, that's not it. Not by a long shot.
What do you mean?
Contrary to one of the witnesses... what one of the witnesses stated, the milk bucket was in fact at the crime scene. And you also notice something about this bucket. Another look at the court illustration. Something about the bucket seems a bit odd, wouldn't you say?
Objection!
This illustration was based on eyewitness accounts, so a small discrepancy or two is conceivable.
Objection!
Actually, Inquisitor Barnum, it's highly likely that this illustration is much less accurate than you think. In fact, there is a blatant contradiction present in this illustration. Admittedly, it does at first look possible that Miss Cantabella was holding the scepter and the bucket at the same time. However, if you look at the real milk bucket, that possibility goes up in smoke. Here, let's have a look at the real deal. Notice the handle?
That cannot be.
Oh, but it is. This particular milk bucket has two pieces of wood on either side of the handle. If you were to try and hold both the scepter and this bucket, well, let's just say that'd be a challenge. But it's simply... there's no way anyone could hold both the bucket and the scepter at once.
What?
This must mean clear you have the wrong bucket.
We never lie when it comes to milk. That is the very bucket I took. Looks like the witnesses are as surprised about this as Barnum. Defendant couldn't have been able to hold the bucket and the scepter at once. Also, we have already established that she was not holding a scepter in her right hand. Therefore, the defendant, Mrs. Bella Cantabella, was not holding a witch's scepter at any point during the incident. Order, order! I said order! Just... what? What is the meaning of this? In all my days as a judge of this court, I have never heard such an argument. These are but paltry set of words, and yet they ring with such remarkable strength.
Your Honor, what you just heard was logic. A very rare power indeed. Logic, you say?
What is it with these two?
They're just silent Inquisitor Barnum with mere words.
Foolishness. This must be some kind of witchcraft.
Wait, do you think...
The baby witches?
It would seem that the concept of logic does not exist in this world.
Oh, god damn it! I hate it.
Phoenix is just like, yeah, no, it didn't really exist in ours either.
Right! Then let's take this chance to knock their case down a peg or two.
I'm worried if we keep this up, we'll all be joining Espella in a one-way trip to the, oven.
Objection!
No, don't do it! It's fine.
Most intriguing. A knight allows his sword to speak for him during battle. You have spoken with a sword of words. So be it. I too shall wield such a blade.
You mean?
Sir Blue Knight, there appears to be a hole in this logic of yours.
Okay. A hole?
According to the earlier testimony, it was believed the accused had the lantern hanging from her wrist by the handle. However, she supposedly dropped it, hence it being covered in mud.
That's right.
While that may be true, it does not necessarily mean the accused was therefore unable to use magic. It is merely a question of when she dropped the witch's scepter.
What do you mean, Inquisitor Bottom?
It is very simple, my lord.
You're simple.
I am. The accused, while first holding the lantern and the witch's scepter, cast her magic. Then, she dropped both the lantern and the scepter.
Where's the mud, bitch? Where's the fucking mud on the scepter? Witch's scepter was dropped after the spell was cast. Of course, yes, that must be it.
What say you, Sir Blue Knight?
Well, I'd love to say a lot of keywords, but they have to make me go through hoops about this, so I'll tell you in like 5 minutes.
That is but a taste of the knightly knowledge of the Inquisition.
I don't think that was knowledge, I think that was conjecture.
Wow, that Sir Barnum cut through that baker's witchery like a hot knife through butter.
Exemplary. I expected nothing less from the hand of Barnum.
Ooh, to be able to shake that powerful hand someday.
People need to be hosed down.
Yeah.
That Inquisitor isn't quite what he first appeared.
Yeah, he's equally an idiot, like all of these fucking people. Unfortunate. Yeah, sure does seem that way. A moment ago, it seemed like he'd never heard of a logical debate. Now he's using it against us. Quote unquote. This guy's no joke, that's for sure. Phoenix! Phoenix, this isn't even a good argument!
Now then, most honorable witnesses, I ask that you lend us your aid once more.
No.
I request that you all testify to the court once more.
This is called leading the witnesses.
Tell us, which occurred first, the dropping of the lantern or the casting of the spell?
Witnesses, you may begin your testimonies. Tell this court, in your own words, about the sequence of events which transpired tonight.
Of course, the lantern fell to the ground after the incantation of Ignize. Sploosh!
By sploosh.
You know why.
Ew. I'm as sure as Snowy is white. I made certain to keep my eyes peeled on that milk bucket after all.
What? What? Huh? What?
Huh?
Huh?
Besides, how can you be sure the lantern fell just because it has a little mud on it?
These eyes do not lie. I saw the lantern in the accused's hands when the incantation was uttered.
Figures, their testimonies are all over the place now.
These 4 testimonies, they are most interesting.
Yeah, because they head ass don't mean anything.
The witnesses all saw the same thing, and yet... People's memories are evidently quite fickle. They could never be a truly reliable source.
I'm just so fucking angry, Coco. Salty mad. Bastards.
It's okay. Eat your salad.
Crying.
Well then, Professor. With everyone poking... with enough poking and prodding, I bet we can really cause our testimonies to crumble.
Of course, we need to exploit their fickle memories to turn this thing around.
We've got this, Nick. We'll press them so hard they won't even remember what they had for breakfast.
I like how Maya and like Layton and changed places. It's kind of like Maya just shoved them behind her like really fast, so they're out of frame.
She's like, I'm Nick's cheerleader, not you.
Yeah, get out of here. Your logic. Can't even remember what I had for breakfast. Well, you couldn't remember that you were a lawyer until like a couple hours ago, so. Now, Sir Baker, you may begin your interrogation. Okay. Let's fucking fuck these people up.
Of course, the lantern fell to the ground after the incantation of Ignize. Sploosh!
Hold it!
Lantern fell after the incantation. Are you positive about that?
I say I am positively positive that I am positive. I heard her voice and then sploosh!
And that sploosh. Was that the sound of the lantern hitting the ground?
Indeed. But of course, do you see?
Not even one fucking thing. But if you look at the lantern, you'll notice that the glass is shattered. Specifically said you heard a sploosh. Shouldn't you have heard the sound of the glass shattering when it hit the ground?
The sound of glass shattering? No, I'm afraid I failed to catch your drift.
Oh, so she's changing her shit up as we're talking to him.
I was present in an area a bit farther away from the crime scene, you see. I have no recollection of hearing such a sound.
You wouldn't have heard a sploosh either. No recollection. Precisely. Oops.
Precisely so. I'll have you know I can easily hear a dog barking across the town. Do not underestimate my hearing.
I wasn't. Relax, Grandpa.
I heard that.
Good.
There is
Now hear
nothing
this. Holds up the bird.
There is nothing of interest in this testimony. Will the witness with the goat please proceed with her testimony?
Huh? Right. You mean us. You startled us, didn't he, Snowy? I'm sure Snowy is white. I made certain to keep my eyes peeled on that milk bucket after all.
Hold it!
But earlier, did Miss Cantabella had the lantern hanging from her wrist? Well, not quite. We didn't say for certain. We only believed it was on her wrist. Believed? Yes, precisely. You know how you sniff milk when you're not quite sure if it's gone bad? And then your nose is assaulted by that foul odor that you weren't expecting? Well, it's a bit like that. Doesn't make any sense.
Heed my words, madame. Do not make a habit of stealing for your own safety.
We said we're sorry. Please, it was all Snowy's fault. Brother. Anyway, we can confidently say we both saw the milk bucket. Right, Precious? As for the lantern falling, we don't know much about that, do we now, Schnookum? Besides, how can you be sure the lantern fell just because of a little mud on it?
Hold it!
What do you mean?
Well, maybe the mud was already on the lantern before any of this happened.
You ever think of that? Before any of this happened.
Like, maybe it's been there since, last week? It did rain last week, too, after all. And if that's the case, then there really isn't any point arguing about whether or not she dropped the lantern. Right?
Indeed. What say you, Defender? I say take a closer look at the lantern. You'll notice there's mud on the glass.
Mud on the glass.
The lantern wouldn't be very useful with all the mud blocking out the light. Miss Kira. I'd say your little theory regarding this lantern is muddy at best. Phoenix, I'm gonna kill you. Point at witnesses till the cows come home. That wouldn't turn this testimony into anything I can use. I've got to find a lead somewhere. It's gonna have to be you.
These eyes do not lie. I saw the lantern in the accused's hands when the incantation was uttered.
Hold it!
This is important. Are you sure you really saw that lantern?
You are but a petty baker, are you not? It is not your place to be telling me what is important. There is but one thing of importance, ridding this town of its witches as quickly as possible.
Objection!
Hardly. I'd say this is far more important.
What?
Trying to find out the truth here.
How absurd! That girl is a witch, I say, a witch! I would stake my entrance into the Knights of the Inquisition on it.
Listen well, whelp.
Yes, Sir Barnum?
Many young men within the ranks of the knighthood share your level of passion. However, you let your ambition completely blind you, the same way that a muddy lantern leaves one blind and helpless in the dark.
What?
This guy.
Yes, indeed. I would say he is quite the tough motivator.
Luke looks so serious.
What do you think, Nick? Did you notice anything fishy?
Yeah, possibly. I think there may be something I can use.
Really? Wow, I didn't hear anything special.
There's definitely something out of place about that one witness's testimony. Something I haven't noticed from any of the other witnesses so far.
It appears you have found something, Mr. Wright.
Or witness cross-examination. This is something I've never done before. But then... maybe there's another way I should be tackling this.
I believe it is worth trusting that intuition, Mr. Wright.
Okay, I got this. Alright, let's try pressing that old man one more time. Really, the old man?
Of course, the lantern found was ground above the incantation of ignite sploosh.
Hold it!
He went really fast that time, huh? The lantern fell after the incantation. Are you positive of that?
I say, I am positive. Positive that I am positive. I heard a voice, then sploosh.
That's sploosh. Was the sound of the lantern hitting the ground?
Indeed, but of course, you see.
Glass is shattered, you fuck. It said you heard a sploosh. Where's the glass shatter?
What is a fuck? The sound of glass shattering? No,
Huh.
I'm afraid I failed to catch your drift.
He did it again. What is that? What is that?
Hold it!
There it is. Right there. I knew I heard something strange.
Huh? But old Greybeard didn't say anything weird.
Maya, it's not the old guy that said something weird. The person next to him.
Next to him?
Oh, look there, Professor! The goat lady! She looks really deep in thought.
It would seem. Just noticed something odd in this elderly gentleman's testimony. Ah. That's right. These cross-examinations have 4 witnesses. Dun dun dun. Hey, Nick. It looks like we're not the only ones paying attention to these testimonies.
Okay. You're right, which means they're all listening to each other's testimony.
Correct, Mr. Wright. Each witness is fully aware of themselves and their own actions when in the middle of their own testimonies. However, it is while listening to the testimonies of others that the witness may sometimes reveal the most valuable information.
What? You see, habitual. Can't tell they're doing it, but I can. I'm going to use it to turn the tide back in our favor. This like the Magatama shit? Is that what's happening right now?
Not quite.
Okay.
In fact, I do believe I may have spotted our first opening in which to test this new technique. Mr. Wright, could I draw your attention to the touch screen?
Me? Luke is right there. Luke, shield your eyes.
Okay.
Maya, you shield your eyes too. I don't want you seeing this.
Okay!
Close your ears too.
Okay.
The touch screen?
The touch screen. He's gone!
He is gone. They're covering their ears.
Sliding the magnifying glass during a witness testimony will allow you to shift your focus across to other witnesses.
Okay. Right, so the important thing here, the witness that's in mid-testimony, it's the other 3 witnesses listening. Just a matter of catching them off guard and questioning them.
So, what were you two up to?
Nothing!
If you say so.
It's just
What are you
adult
waiting for,
talk,
Nick?
Maya. You're not old enough for this.
Well, let's get this going. How about we try questioning the goat lady next to the old graybeard?
Okay, alright. All I have to do is slide the magnifying glass over to the witness.
The sound of glass shattering. No, I'm afraid I failed to catch your drift.
Trying to... Whoa.
Hang on!
Oh, that's a new one on me. Excuse me, Miss Mary. Oh! Do you mean us? But Snowy and I have nothing else left to say. I knew it, and I caught her completely by surprise. Mr. Wordsworth just gave his testimony. He told us all about the sound he heard when the lantern fell to the ground. Mr. Wordsmith didn't seem too sure, but I wonder if you might happen to have something to say about this. Huh? Well, that's... Is that all right, Sir Barnum? May we answer the question?
Do what you will, madame. There is no need for formalities.
Huh? Well, we'll try to explain, and won't we, Snowy? The truth is, we did hear something. That is to say, we heard the sound of the lantern's glass shattering. We're sure of it. It was frighteningly loud. It quite startled us, didn't it, Snowy dear? I looked in the direction of the sound, but I couldn't see anything, let alone the girl or those 2 thieves. It was a tad dark, after all. When the glass shattered, the flame inside must have gone out. Hence, we could not see them. That seems to be the gist of it. Then, as I peered into the darkness, I heard it. You heard it? What did you hear exactly? You know, that! I heard... the incantation for the spell Ignaze.
What did you just say?
No. Now hold it right there, witness. Yes, my lord.
The glass shattered when the lantern fell. Then after that, you heard the incantation for the spell Ignaze. Do you swear to this court that this is, without a doubt, correct?
Yes, maybe, I think.
How about my testimony? What of my oratorical observation? That blasted spell, Ignace, occurred first, then the lantern plummeted to the ground.
I heard no such thing. There was no sound of shattering glass.
Absurd, simply absurd. So the lantern fell and the glass shattered. That does not change the very fact that this girl is a witch.
Objection!
Oh god. I hate to disappoint you, but that's not quite the case. In fact, the testimony changes things a lot. Would you agree, Inquisitor Barnum? What is the meaning of this? Let's go over what we know so far. In order for a witch to use any magic, they must be holding a witch's scepter. And yet, none of the 4 witnesses saw the defendant holding a scepter of any kind. That's because the scepter was made to disappear with the spell Demir, correct? At the time of the crime, the 2 victims grabbed Miss Cantabella's arm, causing her to drop the lantern to the ground. If, at the time, she was in fact holding an invisible scepter, then the scepter must have fallen when she dropped the lantern. Now, let's say, hypothetically, that Miss Cantabella really is a witch. In order to use any magic, she would have had to recite the spell before dropping the scepter. However, as our witness, Miss Mary, has stated in her testimony, she heard the incantation for Ignace after hearing the lantern's glass shatter. What? His googly eyes, though. You do all understand what that means, don't you? It means that Miss Cantabella, the supposed witch you've locked up, could not possibly have cast any magic. Therefore, the defendant, Isabella Cantabella, is clearly in no way, shape, or form a witch.
Such frivolity! Do you realize what you're insinuating? Do you really think she is not a witch?
Oh, such nonsense! Do you even listen to my testimony? We did, but you're wrong. There was no glass shattering. Are you calling me a liar, Missy? You couldn't even see the mud on the lantern when it's plain as day.
What ridiculous claims, all of you!
Oh, hush! Take your little toy sword and go back to playing pretend, Sir Knight.
Damn! I love
I
it.
fucking just destroyed him.
Witnesses, this is a court of law, not a playground. Must I remind you of the importance of these proceedings? Witches and their magic threaten our fair town of Labyrinthia. Your words here today could decide the fate of every single citizen within our walls. Do you understand? As such, I expect each of you to take your role seriously and testify honestly about what you saw.
Now, silent. In all my days as a judge of this court, I have never seen such behavior. Behavior that leaves a cloud of doubt over the credibility of each of your testimonies.
Indeed, my lord. Quite a miserable set of witnesses, this lot. I see. It would appear this trial has come to a sudden halt.
Luke looks so fucking pissed. Look at that little baby. It's an Angie emoji. That's what his face is.
He's a step from being feral.
He is. He's about to just jump over that desk. Huh? So that must mean...
Quite right. It means you have won this trial, Mr. Wright.
Fun. I can hardly believe the situation we have found ourselves in. I did not anticipate this trial ending with such a strange turn of events. Due to the witness's dubious credibility, I can see no reason to continue. What say you, Inquisitor Barnum?
As you wish, my lord.
Well, what's going on?
They're actually going to let this witch run free through the town?
Just as if it wasn't for that witch and her friends.
Hold it!
Fuck is talking? Pardon?
Wait a blooming second.
Some guy.
Close to being over.
Sir, are you drunk? Who the fuck? You Muppet-looking ass? What the fuck?
Not before I take the stand to testify.
Sir. Go jump in the fire.
Order! Order! Who is this buffoon?
Oh, he's gone. Oh, crap.
Behold! Who am I, you ask? Who am I? Why? I'm the man that's gonna single-handedly save this trial. I'm the fifth witness.
Let's just leave it at that. And with that, we will end this episode right here. Till next time, folks. Fucking bye. Bye, Coco.
I drink better than this man.
You drink better than this man.
Mm-hmm. Weak ass chugging.
Weak ass chugging. Say goodbye, Coco.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.